A lot of newcomers to Canada ask me the same question. Can I actually buy a home here if I'm not a permanent resident yet? Maybe you just landed with PR, maybe you're here on a work permit, or you're an international student. The answer is some can buy, some can't, and the rules changed recently. Let's break it down. Section 1, Permanent Residents or PRs. If you have a permanent resident status in Canada, the process is simple. You can buy property just like any Canadian citizen. There are no restrictions from the federal foreign buyer ban, and you can buy condo, townhouse, or detached homes normally. The real challenge for many newcomers with PR is usually not eligibility, it's financing, because lenders will want to see Canadian income, employment stability, credit history, down payment proof. But the good news is many banks offer new to Canada mortgage programs, especially for immigrants. Section 2, Work Permit Holders. This is where things got interesting. Under updated regulations, people with valid work permit can buy property in Canada, but there are conditions. To qualify, you must have a valid work permit, have at least 183 days remaining on that permit when buying, and you can typically purchase only one residential property under this exemption. So yes, many temporary workers are allowed to buy a home in Canada today, but here's the catch. In provinces like Ontario, you may still be subject to the non-resident speculation tax, which is 25% of the purchase price if you're not a PR or citizen yet. However, if you become a permanent resident later, you might qualify for a tax rebate. Section 3, International Students. For international students, the rules are much stricter. Students can only buy if they meet several conditions. They must have lived in Canada for at least 5 years, filled Canadian income taxes for those 5 years, been physically present 244 days each year, and the property must be $500,000 or less. As you can imagine, in cities like Toronto or Vancouver, finding a home under $500,000 is extremely difficult. So realistically, very few international students qualify to buy property. Section 4, the foreign buyer ban. Another important factor is the federal foreign buyer ban. Canada introduced this law in 2023 to limit foreign ownership of housing, and it has now been extended until January 1st, 2027. This means people who are not Canadian citizens or permanent residents generally cannot buy residential property in major cities unless they qualify under exception we just discussed. Section 5, the real challenges newcomers face. Even if newcomers are legally allowed to buy, the real obstacle are usually financial. For example, many lenders require large down payments, strong proof of income, and Canadian credit history. Sometimes the down payment requirement can be 20% to 35% or even higher for temporary residents. So the biggest challenge is usually qualifying for the mortgage, not the purchase itself. Section 6, Important Myth. One important thing many people believe is if I buy a property in Canada, it will help me get immigration status. This is not true. Buying real estate does not help you get a PR or citizenship. Immigration and property ownerships are completely separate processes. So the short answer is PR holders, yes, you can buy normally. Work permit holders, usually yes, with conditions. International students, possible, but very difficult. Every situation is different, so if you're a newcomer thinking about buying a home in Canada, it's important to understand the rules before starting the process. If you're a newcomer planning to buy your first home in Ontario, feel free to reach out. I regularly help first-time buyers understand the process and avoid costly mistakes. And if you found this helpful, subscribe because I post videos every week explaining how to navigate the Canadian real estate market. Thank you and see you later.